TYT Sports, believe it or not, Miguel Cotto is fighting once again in New York. He is undefeated in New York. He has beaten up on Paulie Malignaggi. He redeemed himself against Antonio Margarito, among a few others. I believe he is 9-0. Yep, 9-0 in New York, 7-0 at Madison Square Garden, which is where he will be fighting the undefeated belt holder, Austin Trout. We bring in Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of boxing.com. You know, Robert, from what I have read on these two fighting, you know, there seems to be this certain lack of, Austin Trout respects Miguel Cotto, but he broke the unwritten rule in boxing that many say, is this unwritten rule. He was announced at the presser after the champion. Not before, but after. Austin Trout is the WBA light middleweight title holder. What do you make of this? Or is the media, like myself, just trying to come up with headlines for this fight?
I think it's sort of a tempest in a teapot. These sort of things have happened before. There were times when the champion would enter the ring first and the challenger would enter the ring second, which, again, sort of defies logic and tradition, but these things have happened before. But in this instance, it speaks to Cotto and what a draw Cotto is and how much respect Cotto generates and how much love Cotto draws to himself by his fighting heart and his decency and his sterling character.
You talk about the draw he has and the sort of attention that he brings to his fights. In his fights combined in New York, he has sold over 100,000 tickets. So he is the guy. I understand that. I mean, Miguel Cotto is the favorite. He is the guy that will sell the tickets. Now, no knack on Austin Trout. I think he's a good fighter. But Miguel Cotto is the name guy. Now, we look at the tail of the tape very quickly. Miguel Cotto, 37-3, 30 knockouts. He is the older man by 5 years, 32 years old. He is the shorter man at 5'7", a 67-inch reach. He's going for his 5th world title. Austin Trout, meanwhile, 25-0. 14 knockouts to his name, 27 years old, the taller fighter at 5'10", a longer reach as well, similar to his age difference in Miguel Cotto, 72-inch reach. He is the southpaw. How exactly do you think Miguel Cotto will fare against a southpaw like Trout?
I think Cotto will have a little bit of difficulty initially. He always has a little bit of difficulty with southpaws, but he will adapt as the fight goes on. And I suspect that by the middle rounds, Cotto will have figured out exactly what he needs to do to get to Austin Trout, and he'll be getting to Trout. Again, Trout, as you pointed out, is younger, rangier, longer, southpaw. But if you look at his record and compare the men he's fought to the men that Cotto has fought, there's simply no comparison at all.
Not much, if you want to look at compare and contrast the two. Miguel Cotto, as I stated previously, his last loss, however, was to Floyd Mayweather. He's lost to Floyd Mayweather. He's lost to Manny Pacquiao. He had that controversial loss, which came about well after the loss when Antonio Margarito was probably sporting some hand plasters that are not allowed. He was suspended for a year after they were discovered prior to the Shane Mosley fight. But let me ask you this about Austin Trout. I mean, he has traveled to Mexico and beaten a Mexican. He has traveled to Panama and beaten a Panamanian. What exactly do you make of Austin Trout? He seems like this guy that is well-traveled, as I said, but he has gone into other people's backyards and beaten up on them. That has to say something.
Well, he's a good boxer. He's a good fighter. And he's going once again into somebody else's backyard. Even though Cotto isn't a native New Yorker, New York sort of transforms into sort of Little San Juan when he's in town, or Big San Juan. And so once again, Trout is traveling to his opponent's backyard. But he's never fought a fighter the caliber of Miguel Cotto. He's never even fought a fighter close to the caliber of Miguel Cotto. Granted, Cotto's getting old. He busts up. As you know, he's been cut many times, so his skin is thin. But he has an incredible competitive heart. And Mayweather himself, who's not very free with the compliments, described Cotto as being the best fighter he ever fought. Whether that was true or not true, he did say it. So Trout is really stepping up. He's really stepping up big time at the big top, and it really remains to be seen whether he has what it takes to defeat Miguel Cotto.
As you said, he has faced no big names, Austin Trout. This is his last win, if you want to say even convincingly, I didn't think it was, against Delvin Rodriguez, who of course had that nice win, or excuse me, a nice fight. It ended up as a draw on Friday Night Fights on ESPN against Pavel Wolak. And if you are a boxing fan, and even if you are not a boxing fan, you might have remembered Pavel Wolak's face, which you see right there after the fight. Now, Miguel Cotto chose Trout over a rematch with Manny Pacquiao. Well, obviously it's the right decision, but is that sort of this site of disrespect to Austin Trout that he chose to face Trout instead of Pacquiao?
Oh, not necessarily. I mean, perhaps he's expecting Trout to sort of give him less of a fight than Pacquiao. But Cotto has recently gone off on his own after many, many years fighting under the Top Rank banner. He is, in effect, an independent, using his own promotional company. And perhaps he wanted to spread his wings a little bit financially and sort of go after a fighter who was not a top-ranked fighter. There's no telling what goes on. We only know what goes on the TV and what we see happening in the ring, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes of a financial nature, and I think that may have been a factor in this as well.
Saturday night, Madison Square Garden on Showtime. Miguel Cotto and Austin Trout. Now we bring in Robert Exel for his opinion on who will win the fight. Robert, who do you have?
I'm picking Cotto, and I'm thinking Cotto is going to stop Trout via TKO in the 9th or 10th round.
All right, that sounds pretty good to me. I think that he'll walk away with a decision. I can't see Trout getting knocked out. Would it surprise me? Probably not, but my prediction is Miguel Cotto in 12. Robert Exel, the editor-in-chief of Boxing.com. You could follow him on Twitter at boxing_com and follow his great writing at www.boxing.com. And also, please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't be afraid to like this video and subscribe to TYT Sports. Robert, we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Rick. See you soon.